Hi guys, so I have got another story time video.
Of all these dreams I can't remember. No, I can't tell. I lost my mind in December. I hope you're well.
Hello everyone, this is Calliope and today I'm going to talk about my second relationship. So if you remember that video where I spoke about my first relationship and then at the end I said that I will talk about my second relationship maybe in some other video, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's begin the video. So let me begin by saying that how we became friends. So his dad and my dad were really good friends, okay? So before I shifted here, I did not really know him or I did not talk to him. But when I shifted over here, that's when I started talking. Not immediately, of course. What happened was when my dad was admitted in the hospital for depression and hypertension, etc. That time I started talking to him because there was some problem. Like, this is how I started talking. We were not allowed to put the dish antenna on our terrace. So earlier we had, I think, dish TV or something. So when we shifted here, we got it along, but we were not allowed to put it on the terrace, apparently, to avoid any damage, etc., whatever. So I was really mad, and before taking the cable connection, I was like really getting bored, and I said, you know what, I need some new DVDs or something like that. So I called him up. I don't know for what. Maybe I just called up to just ask about what the doctor said or something, because I had not gone to the doctor with mom. So I just wanted to ask like what the doctor said about dad's condition and stuff. And then of course I wanted to ask some DVDs. I just needed some new movies. So I just spoke to him, and that's how we started talking. So he was suggesting some DVDs which he had, and I was like just being a bitch because I'm like, I don't want to watch that. No, I don't want to watch that. So he was just being like sweet and suggesting some movies, and I was like, no, being like a queen and not being like grateful. So anyway, he got some DVDs to my place or something, and that's how we started talking. Then later on, when I was at his place with my mom, and we were just talking generally. I don't know, he was writing something or he was doing some freelance writing jobs, and I apparently happened to talk about the fact that I also write poems and stuff. And then he said, yeah, he would like to read sometime. So that's how our friendship began. And of course his family was really helpful when dad was admitted and stuff. So it was nice to have a friend, because I'm really bad at making new friends, and I hardly talk to anyone even now in my building. So yeah, so that's how we started talking, and we became really good friends. Now, as a friend, he was extremely caring and sweet to me. Of course, during that time I was dating my first guy, so things were just going fine, and things were very platonic between this guy and me. Okay, I was not interested initially in him. I think what happened was that when things started getting bad, in my first relationship, I think you just try to find an outlet to get rid of this thing. You just need a reason. Okay, so I'm not going to blame my second relationship for breaking up my first relationship, because it is not his fault. It is just like that thing was over, and I probably just needed a reason, which was not actually the reason. The reason was that I was not respected and my work was not valued, and we were just looking in different directions. He wanted marriage and kids, and I wanted to just focus on my career. I wanted some partner who would support my dreams. So I think for 6 months or so, or maybe 1 year, I don't remember how long, we were just friends. And then suddenly, since I was not really interested in talking to my first guy as much as possible, I just was kind of most of the time avoiding him. I definitely got close to this guy because we started sharing a lot of things with each other, and yeah, I think we just got close. And of course, my first guy was not in India that time, he was in Dubai. And initially, of course, he used to tell me that, you should not be with me, just go back to the first guy, or what are you going to do? I said, I want to be with you, and that is just over for me. And as soon as he comes to India, I'm going to tell him. So yeah, it was just a matter of time that I told my first guy, not about the fact that I'm dating someone else, but it's not working out. Of course, it was cheating, but I kind of felt so much guilty for a long time. But then when I analyzed it, it was not this current relationship that actually broke us up. It was just a lot of other things. So I did not find it important to tell him that yes, I'm dating someone else. Yeah, so that's about it. That's about the first relationship. Anyway, so things were very difficult when he came down. It was not that great situation, as I said, at my place, and my dad suspected about me dating this guy, and that's the reason, my first relationship was over, which was technically right, but that was just half the truth. The truth about what happens in a relationship between two people can only be understood by those people. No one else from outside can analyze what happened between the two of them. Initially, it was just definitely not easy, even meeting up, because of my dad. And mom was still cool, but my dad was always like suspecting, even when I went anywhere out, thinking that I might go out with him, or who am I speaking to. It was just very difficult time at my house. In fact, that was the only time I felt really like a prisoner in my own house. He was also really not happy about this thing, that we had to really be cautious about going first, or him waiting somewhere and then coming. I had to really be careful about my dad's walking time. We could never meet somewhere nearby, and it was just very difficult. Imagine spending time with each other. That was also really difficult. Sometimes we did sneak sometimes at his house. It's always risky to date someone from your building, that's what. And of course, it's okay if your parents are cool about it, but otherwise it's just not really the best circumstances anyway. So apart from that, yeah, things were still fine. But I realized over time that this guy is really possessive and insecure. He was always insecure that I would leave him, or he doesn't look that good. Yeah, he was quite an average looking guy. He had bipolar disorder, which was another problem, because I used to constantly feel that I have dated a guy who is really sweet, and this guy has multiple personalities. What happens to him suddenly? He just goes bonkers. He's just someone who is really destructive. Yeah, you can say after hardly in that 6 months or 1 year, it was okay, but most of the time we were again constantly fighting. I could not understand how is it that as friends we were so amazing, and then suddenly things just changed when I started dating him. Or at least for 6 months it was fine, then he probably showed his true colors. And of course I kind of may have taunted him, I shouldn't have left the relationship because of you. I mean, it would have just been great if I would have just left the first relationship. I mean, he was definitely not the reason, but he was one of the reasons. So I kind of really felt irritated because he did not deserve it. Yeah, so things were not really great because he was abusive also, and not just verbal abuse. A couple of times he did hit me also, and of course I hit him back. But that is not what I wanted from a relationship. I mean, come on, we are educated, civilized people. That is not what a relationship should be about. In fact, I don't think so I abused him also that much. The repercussions of that relationship did happen in my next relationship, where I actually became abusive. So you should never be with someone who, you know, is a bad influence on you, or who just gets the worst in you. I did not understand whether he was just like, you know, it was his personality, or whether he was like that because of his bipolar nature. There were blank calls because I think most of the time, see, whenever I had an argument, it was not even an argument, you know, any stupid thing also he would be like provoked about, and he would constantly repeat the same thing over the phone. Of course I would get irritated, and even when I was working, I had to wake up early to go to the office. So, you know, before that I had to go to the gym. And imagine someone calling you at night. So I used to most of the time just switch off my phone or put it on silent mode, and then he used to call on landline. It was the most irritating. Imagine, like, you know, my mom used to sleep beside me, and I used to like, sometimes I used to just answer his phone, and of course I could not speak anything. Or sometimes, I don't know, I might have whispered also. It was such a horrible situation, and he used to just go on and on and on, you know, just some abuses and stuff. So I had definitely broken up a lot of times with him, but he used to just not understand. He used to try to come back. My god, the worst relationship of my life. I'm not saying that you should not be with someone who is having some kind of you know, disorder, psychological treatment is going on or whatever, but you need to be prepared to be in that situation. You never know whether that person is actually like that, or he's just gonna blame everything on his disorder. So it was too much for me, and I just wanted to get rid of him as early as I could. So yeah, that's it from me, folks. I don't think so this was like a really pleasant experience I was sharing with you people. I know definitely not the best relationship of my life, and I would just advise all you girls out there, or even boys, do not be in an abusive relationship. Get out of it. Call help if you have to. Just don't be in it. That's all I can say. You don't have to suffer no matter what. So that's it from me, folks. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment below and let me know what do you think about the video. Have you ever been in such a relationship? Then let me know, and please share this video with your friends, and please subscribe. If you're liking my channel, my content, then you should subscribe. And if you want to check out my last video, it's somewhere here. Until next time, it's bye bye from me. Take care.
Lost my mind.